Well, welcome to the DIY Rockstar channel here on YouTube. I find myself more creative today than I ever have been, even in my teenage years. And it's a blast finding people to be creative with you. You know, one of the first things I want to do is praise Jesus, praise God for everything that he has done. Please just let this be a gift to possibly somebody else. Maybe they can energize their creativity. Watch over us. Thank you so much. What we're going to do is talk about songwriting, hard rock songwriting, like classic rock, 80s, 90s, that kind of stuff. Home recording in the most budget-friendly ways possible, at least the way I do it. Talk about some pedals and some gear. A little bit of life stories that I've had of over many, many years of playing in those garage bands that we all had back in the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, I was in one of those. We had moderate success. Now, I'm later on in life with all of this technology of 2025 brings to us. We're kind of starting over and I'm feeling like a teenager again. Who is this channel for? Well, you and maybe your neighbor and anybody that was in rock bands when they were growing up, loved playing guitar, loved trying to write songs, maybe want to get into it, maybe want to express your creativity. I mean, that's really what this is really about, is about being creative in whatever stage of life you're in. My name is Chuckie Arlund. I'm in a band now called Freaky Things. I was just writing some songs and I got my old singer from my band in the late 80s, early 90s called White Lies and asked if he wanted to write some songs with me. And he was like, sure. We started writing songs. The next thing you know, we've got a couple of EPs that are based on Magic the Gathering songs. So we thought, let's get into the Magic the Gathering communities and see if anybody would think this was cool. Well, that was a giant roadblock. Through that, we were introduced into the indie rock community, which is huge. And there's so many incredibly talented people out there making music that you really don't even need to listen to mainstream radio anymore. And our songs are being played all over the world on independent radio stations. A couple of months ago, we were asked if we would play live. We said, yeah, let's do it. Gave us a deadline. Our first show opening up for Pretty Boy Floyd just a couple months ago. Got some friends from high school or people that we'd played with many, many, many years ago, and they dug the stuff that I'd been writing and Joe had been writing. I had to relearn my own songs because when I wrote them, I never expected to play any of this stuff live. But it's coming together, and now we have another show coming up in June. We might be opening up for Mike Tramp's White Lion maybe this fall. I think they're working on something with Trickster and Enough's Enough and a Pretty Boy Floyd. We might be pulling the opening slot for that, which would be really cool. I'd like to hear about your communities. What was it like where you were? Did you have a music scene? Did any bands make it out of there? We had two. One was called The Front and one was called Banshee. And then we had some bands from Lawrence, Kansas that did some stuff.
Hey Chuckie, what can we expect to see from this channel?
You're gonna see a lot of stuff on me demoing some pedals because, see, I haven't played live in, well, probably the last time I played live was 2005, the last band I was really in before I had children. When we had that Pretty Boy Floyd gig, I went and looked at my pedal board, which was this giant SKG powered pedal board. It's really big. I honestly do not have that many pedals at work anymore or need to use a lot of these pedals. I went back and started trying to clean some of these pedals up, and as much cleaning as I could do, they were just trashed. I'm going to talk about the pedal board that I've got now, how I set that up. Do-it-yourself mentality has led me on a really creative journey. We were nominated for Album of the Year for an independent song thing, and my singer and I went to Atlanta last year. And while we were up there, he always gets interviewed by the podcast, and I'm kind of the guy behind the scenes. He'll have to answer questions about me. I wish I was there with him so I could interject. They're always asking technical questions. What kind of gear do you use? What's this? What's that? How you're mixing? Because I do all that stuff. I decided I'm going to interview myself. I made a character. Her name is Glenda, and interviewed myself.
The New Rock Podcast with Glenda.
It seems that Freaky Joe has had short hair then, and Now I see him and he has really long hair and you've pretty much stayed the same. Now, is this a Steel Panther kind of thing where he's made up this character Freaky and is he wearing wigs?
That's a funny question. Maybe he's using a supplement that he's not telling me about, but it's not a wig. I'll post a link to that interview. That led to, wow, what's Glenda's backstory? And this is where the creativity kind of starts to take over. I came up with a whole band called the Sounding Torture Girls. As I drove back from Atlanta, back to Nashville, where I live now, they kind of took shape, and they were loosely based off people I really knew in life from back then. And originally, it was supposed to be this like 90s alt band. I got home, made some AI characters, and I wrote a song. And that song turned into a full album, and I wrote the thing in 2 weeks, had it recorded, and put out within a month. Wow, how did I do that? How did I put a record out, on all the platforms, write, record, do everything in 2 weeks? It only took a month to put it out was because I was like debating on whether or not I should even release this because it was just for me. And my singer convinced me, yeah, let's do it. Let's put it out. It's funny, I've developed a whole different style of writing for that band. They've become like these altered personas. And sometimes I'll even talk about as different people altogether. I'll mention Sonja, who is the guitar player, me. Yeah, I'll talk about Sonja's guitar playing, and we're writing songs. So maybe that can help you get started with songwriting or show you how to get songs out. I know so many people that just sit and struggle, just never do anything. And they think about it, or you'll be driving in your car and you go, I got this great idea, and then you get home and you just don't do it. This is what I want this channel to be, helping you push start your creativity to create anything you want. And that could be art, that could be music, that could be whatever it is. Just be creative. It keeps you young, it keeps your mind fresh. So many benefits to just the creativity of that. You let go of the ego. I think you learn about ego when you're in a rock band and how to deal with that and how troubling it can be. Stay tuned because next up is going to be some pedal demos. Definitely like and subscribe so you can see these videos when I post them out. So until next time.